And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good morning and welcome to the Market Forecast. Thursday, August the 25th. My name is John Hoagland. Thanks for trusting me with your time. Somebody noticed an omission that I had yesterday on the market recap, but during the birthdays, I did not mention Mason Williams, the creator or the writer of Classical Gas, the song that's playing right now. A fantastic song. Ruben, thanks for pointing that out. Thought I'd open up today with it because it's going to be an exciting and challenging trading day as if they all aren't. It's also National Kiss and Makeup Day. Always sounds sweet to do that. It's also Whiskey Sour Day, so I'm calling today Sweet and Sour Day. But we're always going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and staying patient. So the Jackson Hole Symposium begins today. We know that we've got that going on. We also had the GDP preliminary / revision from last GDP, which came out lower than expected. They were looking for down 0.8%, came out down 0.6%. So a little bit slower retraction of the U.S. economy than further expected. The jobless claims came out today, and initial jobless claims last week was 250,000. They were looking for 253,000 this week. Came out 243,000. There was also a revision of last week's down 5,000 to 245,000. Continuing jobless claims last week was at 1,437,000. They were looking for 1,442,000, and we smashed that one. 1,415,000. We are still waiting for the natural gas numbers to come out. Some people speculating that slowing of the slowing of the U.S. economy might incite a smaller rate hike in September during the FOMC meeting. We're going to find out a lot more about that tomorrow when Jerome Powell speaks. We've got our U.S. stocks higher still this morning, although coming off the highs after the numbers came out. Jobless claims, while the Jackson Hole Symposium gets underway, lots of things to focus on, lots of things to think about. Crude prices tested the weekly kickoff high last night of 95.80, as China's stimulus kind of boosted potential global demand for crude oil. Fed Chair Powell's keynote speech is tomorrow. Thanks again for Ruben for pointing out me missing that important birthday of Mason Williams. And as always, if you like what you're seeing, hit the lucky like button. Share, comment, question, feedback, and heckling and love are always welcome. After all, it is Kiss and Makeup Day. And subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get notified when we do go live. A quick look at the VIX, the dollar index, and the 10-year yield. VIX about flat here, just last I looked, just before the number came out. Dollar index slightly lower at 108.43, and the yield on the 10-year continuing to creep higher, now at 3.1%. Got to say good morning to everybody. We've got Scott Saw, and he conquered first in the room. Scott, you win the prize this morning. Dark Kevin, good morning. Tachyon, Shaw, happy Thursday to you. Bill, Dimitar, Brian, Clarence, Patrick, the Rooster, good morning. Chilling with Dylan, Terry King, Glitter Sandwich, George Duke. Theo, good morning. Marcelo, Ron, Joe. Love to have you comment on this when you have time. Let's take a look. Day traders. You are not able to be 100% focused 100% of the time. If you've not done so before, then spend some time thinking about how you might best manage this limitation. Well, I think important. I think it's impossible for anybody to be 100% focused on any one thing at any one time. If you've ever tried to meditate and just focus on your breath, it's always kind of a battle when your mind starts to wander away from focusing on your breath, and you've got to kind of bring it back into focus. And I think that's kind of what happens to us throughout the trading day. Joe, I think it's really important to take breaks throughout the trading day. Every hour, take 5 or 10 minutes away from the screen. Maybe it's every half hour for you, for anybody. It's up to you to decide, just to give your mind that little bit of rest, that little bit of break from what we are trying to focus so intently on. There's also some distractions that you can kind of let your mind wander to, especially when you're waiting for alignment, when you're waiting for a particular level to execute a trade at. Dr. Menaker, I think, was one of the smartest things I ever heard was, he was kind of focusing and trying to be patient, waiting for alignment with his strategy and waiting for price to line up with things that he was thinking, and just kind of getting bored, maybe taking trades just because he's bored. He'd always wanted to learn how to play the guitar, so he bought a guitar and he started teaching himself to play the guitar on YouTube when there's kind of downtime. And there's a lot of downtime in trading. A lot of it is very boring. And if you're trying to stay focused during those periods of time, you're going to use up a lot of mental capital and a lot of energy when you don't really necessarily need to. It depends, of course, on your time frame. If you're a scalper, your focus is going to be a lot sharper and need to be a lot sharper, because you're going to be taking a lot more trades in and out, and some people like that action. I'm more of a longer time frame. I call myself a day swing trader. I'm looking to take some bigger bites out of the marketplace. And sometimes I may have to wait until late in the afternoon before price gets to a level that gives me the opportunity to be cheap enough to get into a trade and to look for a bigger opportunity. So making the best time, making the best of that time when we're not focused is maybe focus on something else, or even just try and meditate. Meditation is a great way to continue to improve your ability to remain focused. Just a couple of thoughts there, Joe. Always appreciate the questions. The Scarlet Arachnid is here. Good morning, Besweed. Dan Trader, DA, good morning. Dead letter opener. What's up, speculators? Dario, good morning. Jules, Frederico, Serenity Trader. Alfred, dead letter opener. George. Lacey is sitting right in the middle of the front room here, just kind of looking at me going, why are you always talking? Classical Gas, yes. Dead letter opener. Haggle Matters, good morning. Once learned that one. Tough on the fingers. Well, that's, I'm sure, why he played it on a classical guitar. Much easier than a steel string acoustic guitar on the fingers, for sure. Brian, James, Anissa, Zoraine, Sarah Hall, good morning. Prayers and love to you as well. Good morning, Vince. Trading Research, my guy, John Doherty, good to see you. Tony, Jerry is awake. Hopefully John is too. Brody, Rob T, Steve Frischman, good morning. Grim Reaper Trader, 3 Lions. My brother Rick is with us. Good morning, Rick. I love you. Rob Dwyer, Andrew Hennessy, Patrick, Joe. Good. I'm glad that you like that answer. Orion, Chris, and the Rational Investor. Good morning, Brian. Got word a little while ago. My phone rang just as we were starting the market forecast here this morning. So Mom is watching. So let's wait until later on this afternoon before we start diving in to the whiskey sours or the wine. All right. So we do have Make Hogue Money today. I am going to put in the link so you can register to be with us in the Zoom meeting. If you're not in the Zoom meeting, you can watch it live on YouTube, but you won't be able to be part of the decision making and the discussion in the Zoom meeting in the Zoom chat, but that's okay. We're kind of trying to keep an eye on the chat in YouTube as well. But we're looking forward to a good session. We had a couple of losses on Tuesday. We had a pretty decent win on Tuesday that we left on and reached our profit target in after the end of Make Hogue Money, but we're always looking forward to seeing what we can find this morning. Okay, Dr. VJ, good morning. Rusty Golfer, we're going to jump relatively quickly into the charts here because we want to be ready for Make Hogue Money at 8:20. So let's jump in here. The daily in the S&Ps. Seen a little bit of a reversal in the overnight here from our early data this morning. Not really looking for anything huge to come from it, of course. We're all waiting for what's going to happen tomorrow, probably, with Chairman Powell's speech. Anyways, so we had an up day yesterday, the first one in 3. Open interest, however, continued lower in the S&Ps. It's not encouraging for a big turnaround to have lower open interest. We still managed to hold overall support near weekly kickoff low. This market is, and all of these markets, I believe, are economic data thirsty. We're all aware of what we've got coming up. May not be a big deal. Who knows? One of the things that I am noticing in the daily chart here on the E-mini S&Ps is I've got my Hull moving averages, and they are basically both below price, both heading lower, but below price. Sometimes this can be an indication of a change or a slowing in momentum. Of course, anything can happen. This is the 9 session. This is the 13 session Hull moving average. You can take a look in the past here and see when price ended up when price ended up below the Hull moving averages, even though both of them were still heading higher, we started our move to the downside. We held those Hull moving averages on the way down. Now they're both below price. Not suggesting that any permanent low is in. It just tells me that I may be looking for opportunities more to buy weakness and perhaps sell strength. But again, anything can happen. We've got all our information out for today. Just saying that these Hull moving averages below price can be an indication of a change in momentum. We had a similar situation here in the S&Ps. We have overnight inventory to the long side. I still think we're a little bit long. We had a potential for an open with a gap. That potential still remains. We've seen the market pull back a little bit off our 930 numbers. So now if we do open with a gap, we're going to have a gap below in day time frame. We're also going to have a past gap above in day time frame. What is a trader to do? So it looks like we're largely or likely to be open outside of the area of balance that we've been in for 3 days. It might indicate an opportunity earlier in the session, but I'm, as I usually do, resolving to myself right now, I'm going to miss an opportunity today, and I have to be okay with that. There are going to be several, even in my time frame. So we're going to see if we open with a gap. If we can't close the gap, then we look for the continuation to the upside to maybe go up and close this gap. We've got a lot of visuals up above in naked points of control. We got the gap and 3 NPOs all the way up to weekly kickoff low. We also have visuals down below in NPOCs, naked points of control. So, watching what happens on the open. If we open with a gap, if we open inside range and reject, we can see the market continue to move higher. If we open with a gap and accept value from yesterday, there's our value area special situation play. I wish that I could tell everybody exactly what was going to happen, but nobody can do that. So we're going to go with the rules. If we open with a gap, can't close the gap, we're going in the direction of the gap. If we close the gap and find support there, we're going to go with the direction to the gap. If we get back into range and find evidence of acceptance in range and certainly within value, then we try and play the value area special situation play. I'm not looking for any huge moves today. We've got some information out. The market has responded. It's going to digest. I think the more important, bigger moves may come tomorrow as Jay Powell begins to speak. I'm sure he's going to be very cautious not to shake things up if he can. Crude oil. Overall open interest falls, approaching weekly kickoff high. So we lost another 9,100 on this move to the upside. Overall, we've been losing open interest on this push to the upside, and we are now, trading up against an important inflection level in that weekly kickoff high. Open interest does continue lower as we continue higher. We're done with rollover. We don't have to worry about that. So the volume was a little bit lower than this initial move to the upside. Very low day before yesterday. Kind of lower yesterday. We knew what we were going to be getting today. The need for new business in order to continue this move to the upside is present. We're going to need to start building open interest if we're going to continue this move to the upside. And this line here to me is a potential market state change. Okay, so we are going to be looking at that as resistance. If we find ourselves above it, we're going to need to see a lot of participation come into this market to continue this move to the upside. This rally has been a little bit hollow. So we're going to need a lot of new business up here to continue this move to the upside. A lot of it is, of course, fundamental information, and we got information that China put some stimulation into their economy, and they're maybe increasing their need for crude oil. That's why I think we've taken our look up at weekly kickoff high. We've just opened up. Take a look at the 30-minute chart. So there's our look to weekly kickoff high. No real overnight inventory here with which to speak of. I mean, we closed here, we opened here, we are there. No major overnight inventory with which to use as help. What's the 1 minute opening range? Still inside of it. 30, almost 40 points. Rather large. No real confidence in this opening range. I'm going to try and stay patient today. What are the things that I'm looking at? Well, we opened in range and kind of bordering value here. Then does that negate the value area special situation play? Maybe, maybe not. We're looking to see if this market is going to accept range from yesterday or if it's going to reject. One thing we do want to remember is we did put in our recent high in the overnight trading hours, the extended trading hours. Markets tend not to like that. I'm looking for an opportunity for us to test a weekly kickoff high at some point today to look for an execution because, again, I can make it cheap. All right. Nasdaq. Such a different story than the S&Ps and such similar products. The open interest has been higher, but slowing below weekly kickoff low. This is that same area in the S&Ps that we've been holding support for 2 days. We held resistance there. We are back above it now. Open interest has been increasing, but it has been increasing at a lower rate. We're looking for new business. And again, all of these markets are economic data thirsty this week. Similar to the S&Ps, we've got our hulls below price. that can be a changing of momentum. Holding above this weekly kickoff high could indicate that this market is ready to resume a move to the upside. Is this going to end up just being a huge bull flag? Could it? Would it? Let's see. Very similar to the S&Ps. We've got overnight longs. We're bordering a gap. If we accept inside range from yesterday, we accept inside range. If we reject range, we've got plenty of things to look at above. We've got a previous gap from earlier this week. We've got naked points of control. We got another naked point of control up here that I haven't put on yet. I mean, there is gaps and there are naked points of control everywhere in this Nasdaq. So, again, I wish I could tell everybody exactly what was going to happen, but I can't do that. I'm excited for Make Hogue Money today because we're going to be able to watch that opening in the S&Ps together to see if we can't find some good opportunities. Let's take a look at gold here. I see a couple of questions I'm going to address here as we get close to the end of the charts. So, open interest jump this is the biggest jump in open interest we had yesterday in over a week, and it was to the upside. Volume was low yesterday, but we knew we were getting data today. What didn't happen this week in gold? What didn't happen is we didn't get a true test of weekly kickoff low. There may be an inherent strength in this market. Of course, a lot of that depends on the dollar and everything else, of course. Technically, this is a bullish signal, almost a bullish engulfing pattern down here as well. The dollar has been kind of leaking a little bit lower. That I think has helped the plight of the longs in gold. Take a look at the 30-minute chart. Overnight inventory to the long side. We've opened with a gap. We have failed to close the gap. What didn't happen? We did not close the gap, and we didn't do so relatively early. So if we get the opportunity to look anywhere near our regular trading hour low here, it might give us an opportunity for an execution because we can keep it cheap. Got a whole lot of longs here, but the inability to close this gap is important. This is going to be an important feature of this profile today. It's too bad it's Thursday and I'm not doing a recap because I'd really like to touch base on this at the end of the day. But so be it. Anything can happen, of course. Overnight inventory longs, gap rules, visuals, and structure above. Value area special situation below. What is the value area special situation? Value area special situation says that if we open out of the previous day's range and we enter into and accept the previous day's area of value, it increases the probability of price reaching the other extreme of value at some point during that session. So what establishes acceptance? Well, that's a subjective term. Some people say we need two 30-minute bars to close back inside value from yesterday to mark acceptance of yesterday's area of value to incite the value area special situation play. They never make it easy. And again, it's another reason I'm kind of bummed we're not going to be having a recap today because I would like to revisit that if that actually comes to fruition. 80% play, there you go. Sometimes more like the 65% play, but I do like those odds because I can limit risk, right? All right, let's take a look at the euro. Still magnetic towards that psychological big fat round number, rational investor. Par, 1-to-1 the dollar. Psychological there, 3 days in balance now. Dollar's a little bit lower this morning, maybe coming off a little bit now. Here's the 30-minute chart. Okay, we get a look up here. We've got lots of weakness and visuals above. It's only going to matter when we get there. We're still in range and value. We've opened in value, in range. Stay patient today. I'm losing the importance of this big fat round number here. That because it's been visited so much, now it's just kind of magnetic. So I'm losing I'm losing the ability to look for that as an opportunity for an execution, more of a pivotal area, which pivots can sometimes get you long above, short below, long above, short below, long above, short below, long above, short below. Not going to do it. Stay patient today. Not going to do it. We're in range. We're in value. Look for the lower extremes of value, of balance. Look to the upper extremes of balance for opportunities. In the middle here, I'm doing nothing in the middle. The yield on the 10-year continues to leak higher. We've got some acceptance below weekly kickoff low here in the 10-year. We added 16,000 in open interest yesterday. Volume wasn't all that great, but at least we added some new business down here. That's what we're looking for. These weekly kickoff levels are looking for longer time frame traders to need to adjust inventory. We're looking for additional open interest in one direction or the other. We've added open interest on the downside here. We've put our overnight high relatively close to weekly kickoff high. Take a look at the 30-minute chart here. Dollar rallying. Thank you, Rick. So we took a look above that weekly kickoff high. We've opened in range and value. We're going to be kind of focusing on our extremes from last night as our opportunities for executions. Last night we traded right to the low of yesterday's range. Last night we traded just above and rejected weekly kickoff high in the middle here. Again, try and stay patient. Better trade locations are likely to come as the day goes on. And our fascinating natural gas here, rollover range, you think? We rolled over to the October contract yesterday, I believe, and we're just kind of range bound here. We had a big pull. We had the Fremont information. The market's been digesting that ever since and falling into range. And a lot of that, I think, may be kind of attributed to the fact that it is in rollover. We know that our longer time frame traders like to take their time and try and make money on their rollover. They can make money on the rollover. They can also lose big. If you've got a lot of contracts of natural gas and you do a poor rollover, you're losing a lot of money. Here's the 30-minute. Okay, no real overnight inventory. Settlements up here. We are here. Range bound. I'm focusing again on yesterday's high and low as the extremes of the session that I'm going to focus on for opportunities here today. You know, we kind of opened in value right at settlement. No real big change in the perception of value of the natural gas here in the U.S., at least not yet. Alrighty. Sometimes there's things that are obvious. Sometimes there are things that are not. Do I use legacy charts anymore? I have to get the profiles. The profiles are only available on the legacy charts. I just like the look of the older charts for some reason. I don't know why. BTD, where do I get that information? I'm going to put a link into the chat room here, just real quick. Okay, that's where I get the information. It's the daily bulletin. It looks like this. If I want to get energy fields, let's say equities, I can go right here and I can find the preliminary information from yesterday, losing 5,861 in the S&Ps. Now this is the preliminary number at about 9:30. If I refresh this page, it's going to come up final, and that's going to be the absolute. Oh, I got the wrong thing on here. Here's what it looks like. Here's the bulletin. Okay. So if I want to get equities, I just click on there. This is going to come up. This is the preliminary. Everything's pretty much going to be right on it. Volume, pricing, everything like that. The only thing that may change on the final is the open interest. Okay, so there's and then, I do my research every day, and I do collect that information for some products, but I keep all this information that I collect for the forecast and my trading day every day, and I can go back and look at the Nasdaq and see how open interest has changed over time. Vlad, you can get the link to Make Hogue Money. I put the link in where you can get the link for Make Hogue Money. I'll put it in again for you right here. Just go to that price, go to that page, and you got to give us your email address, but we're pretty sure we probably already have that, but then you can get the link to go directly into the Zoom meeting instead of watching it on YouTube. Okay, it's about 8:15. It takes me just a few minutes to get the Zoom meeting and everything up and running for Make Hogue Money. So let's take our deep breath. Stay humble, grateful, and creative today. Humble is a big part of it. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Use your hypotheses to use the right strategy for the hypothesis that's ringing true. We'll see you in just a couple of minutes for Make Hogue Money, but if I don't see you, have a great trading day. Again, no recap today. I'll be doing the forecast tomorrow morning, and that'll be it for the week. And I look forward to seeing everybody in just a couple of minutes. The Zoom link is in this link. Hopefully you'll find it there. So, all right, everybody, trade well today. Let's see if we can have you guys.
Recording in progress.
Good morning. Welcome to Make Hogue Money. Let's see what we can do today. CFTC disclaimer. We're not calling any trades or just suggesting the buying or selling of any particular product. Today, you guys are. But it's always good to remind yourself of the risk of futures trading and that only risk capital should be used. One of the reasons I love Top Step so much. You do not have to put up any risk capital. These are live. This is a live market. So all of the important factors apply. And of course, there's no testimony or guarantee of any success or lack of success in this account. The basic rules of Make Hogue Money are kindness and respect above everything. There's always differences of opinion when it comes to trading. We're going to have a couple of people enabled to talk. Everybody's going to be involved in the decision. Context is always helpful when you are talking about a specific trade. We use the chat room to discuss trades. We use the polling system in Zoom to